Hi guys, my name is Colby. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my most wanted records from the year 2022. Two disclaimers. Firstly, as you can probably tell from my channel, if you found it from there, this is my first video, so I'm going to be a little twitchy, just because I'm not used to it. So I'm sorry about that. If I trip up or something, I'll probably correct myself though. Secondly, I know that I just said from the year 2022, but I don't mean records released in the year 2022. I just mean records in general that I want to get this year. This also does not include RSD releases. Just anything. It could be from the year 1978, anything before that, anything after that. Just anything. I want to get these specific records before the year is over, just because for one reason or another I want them. And some of these I've been actually wanting them for a couple of years and I haven't gotten them yet, so I'm trying to make it like a goal, like a list of goals that I want. I have a list right here because I'm going to forget some of them. So anyways, that's what this video is about. I'll include a picture up in this corner, or up in this corner, probably up in this one because my head is right here, of what the album looks like. I'll do a little bit of a description of each of them, and let's get started. Firstly, the first release is Disco Inferno's The 5 EPs. Disco Inferno is not really that popular of a band, so I'd be surprised if you've heard of them. I don't mean to sound like a hipster or anything when I say that with my Smiths t-shirt, but they're not that well known, and generally, like, even if you're a music nerd or something, you probably only know a little bit about them, or absolutely nothing, because I was like that. I mean, I only discovered them when I was looking through the charts for a specific genre. Otherwise, I would have never found out about them, but they are a really good band. They're one of my favorite bands. I don't have any records from them yet, and the 5 EPs is a compilation album of the 5 EPs that they released in their discography, and it's really good. It is really good. I think Love Stepping Out is probably one of my favorite songs. I have heard absolutely nothing like it, and I suggest you check them out because they're really good. If you are a fan of experimental sound collage, noise pop, or what they're bestly known for is the genre post-rock. They originated in the early 90s alongside Bark Psychosis and Talk Talk. They pioneered that genre, and their music is really unique, and I really want it really bad because I think it would fit well with my collection, and I really want it. I talked to my local record store, and I asked them if they could possibly order it and then just hold on to it till the next time I come in there, but I don't know if they're going to do that. So I'm going to have my fingers crossed though. The second one, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's The Magic Flute. Kind of weird, but I want this one specifically because I was in the play The Magic Flute last year for my school. I played the role as Papageno, and I think the music is really nice to listen to, especially in the springtime. You know, I'm not really that big of a fan of opera music, and it's the only opera album or classical album really that I've listened to before, but it's really nice. It's like 2 hours long, but I think if I had it, it would be a good nostalgia trip, I guess, because that play was a lot of fun to do. We didn't sing, it was just, we talked from this script that we wrote. Basically, most of the script was lyrics, but we just said them, so none of it was singing. Thank God, because I'm not a good singer. Anyways, the third one is The Caretakers stages 4 through 6. So 4, 5, and 6 of Everywhere at the End of Time. And you're probably wondering why I want 4 through 6. It's because I have stages 1 through 3 already. very expensive, but they're doing represses, I think, so it's going to be a little bit less expensive, I hope, for the next 3 stages. And the reason being I want the entire thing is probably just because I want to complete the collection, really. You know, I originally only got stages 1 through 3 because I told myself those are the only ones that I would listen to, you know? I know that the whole project, as you may have heard, because it's gotten very famous over the past year or so, but it's about dementia, so the first stage is just classical music, and the stages are supposed to decay to represent the brain of somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's. And so stage 6 is basically just noise. But, I mean, I think it would feel nice in my collection if I had all 6 of them. I probably would not listen to the last 3 stages, though, so this isn't really that important on my list. But I wanted to get those through. And you're probably wondering, well, why are you going to buy them if you're not going to listen to them? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I have terrible money spending habits. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. Next up, Bark Psychosis, Independency. This is a compilation album of Bark Psychosis's music. Bark Psychosis, I mentioned them earlier, but they were one of the pioneers of the post-rock genre. And by post-rock, I don't mean like the crappy 2000s copycat era post-rock with like explosions in the sky, or, you know, the weird emo, cringy, long album titles with long song titles, and they all sound exactly the same. I'm talking about like early 90s post-rock with Late Talk Talk and Disco Inferno. But Bark Psychosis, they were actually the band that was coined as post-rock by the journalist Simon Reynolds, I believe. This album is a compilation album of a couple of EPs. The songs like Blood Rush, it's a really good song. The Man, I think, is on that one. Nothing Feels, I Know, that's a good one. But really the one that I want this album for is the last song, and it is the 21-minute song Scum. And if I could, I would just get that single alone, you know? There is a vinyl copy of just the Scum single, which was improvised and recorded in the basement of a cathedral, I believe. And God, it is amazing. It is one of my favorite songs. My friends and I, a couple of my friends at school, we were planning on doing a 45-minute improvised jazz session for a fundraiser. And the inspiration for me to come up with that idea was that song specifically. I really hope that we can do the performance, but we probably won't. Anyways, Bark Psychosis are very influential for my kind of music, and I really hope I can get the compilation album, but right now it's going for like $50, and I hope that they come with a repress or something on just solid black. Right now, the only copy I can find is red, but I'm hoping I can get that eventually. Miles Davis in a Silent Way, up next. There's a lot of copies for this one. I could just buy it off the internet, but I really hope that I can find it at the record store, because I don't really like buying things online, you know. I really do think that there is a thrill that comes with a record package showing up in the mail, like when the FedEx truck shows up and you're like, oh, it could be my package. But I also think it's nice physically getting it at the store, you know, like going in there, flipping through stuff. It's like a nice little Easter egg or something, you know. Miles Davis is probably, he's not my favorite jazz musician, but I'd say that he is the best. Not objectively, of course, but and that kind of doesn't make any sense. I think my favorite jazz musician would be Sonny Rollins, but Miles Davis is like just spinning circles around that guy, you know? Silent Way is kind of in the same ballpark as Bark Psychosis, which they were probably inspired by Miles Davis in some way, but Silent Way is just, I think, 2 tracks, 20 minutes each, I'd say, or 30, and just, you know, ambience and guitar, and I think it'd be nice to have. Next up, R+7 by Oneotrix Point Never. First off, I also want Chuck Person's Echo Jams, which is Oneotrix Point Never, the same guy, but there is no vinyl copies of Echo Jams. There's all bootlegs, but I don't really screw with that kind of stuff because usually it is very expensive, and sometimes, from what I've heard, bootlegs sound very bad. I just don't like the idea of owning a bootleg. R+7 is like a progressive electronic album. You know, a lot of nice noises and soundscapes. It sounds really nice. It sounds like you've spilled milk all over SNES and it's just glitching, you know? It's a weird description, but up next, Slowdive Pygmalion. Pygmalion may be my favorite Slowdive album. Actually, no, it's not. My favorite Slowdive album would probably be Souvlaki, but I already have that release, of course. It's a beautiful album, but Pygmalion is, if you've heard of it, it's ambient pop, kind of strays away from the other Slowdive releases. It was the last one Slowdive made before they broke up, and then they came back in like 2011, and they're making another Slowdive album, I think. But it's a lot different. It's more organic. It's atmospheric. It's a perfect album for the winter. And right now it's the spring, so I'm not going to buy it anytime soon, but I'd love to spin it in the winter. Music on Vinyl also has like a really cool variant for that album. It's like smoky green. I really want that copy because it looks really nice, and I love the album. Up next is Talk Talk, Color of Spring. Talk Talk is one of mine, if not my favorite band. Color of Spring is my second favorite album by them, my favorite being Laughing Stock, and I already have that album. I have 2 copies of it. It is my favorite album, I think Laughing Stock is. It's a great album. But Color of Spring is a really nice art pop album. It is the album that they made right before they dove into the genre of post-rock, which they pioneered, of course. But people kind of forget about their music before Spirit of Eden and Laughing Stock. Like, I think most of their stuff, like, you know, from the beginning of The Party's Over to Laughing Stock was actually pretty cool. You know, if you listen to, I would never recommend somebody just listen to Laughing Stock. I think that they should listen from their first album to Laughing Stock, because I think it's more of a journey than just, you know, a piece that you can take out and just listen to, you know. I think all their stuff is really good. I just wish that Color of Spring wasn't so overlooked. It is their most popular album, but I'm talking with respect to the music community of people who, when they hear Talk Talk, they only think of their last 2 albums. Color of Spring is really good. And the last one is, again, Bark Psychosis and the album Hex. This album came out, I think, 1994. But it is the album by the band that was coined as post-rock, and very Talk Talk influenced, but this was the album that was that started the whole post-rock thing. It's a really beautiful album. It's more ambient, it's more dubby than anything Talk Talk did, but you can definitely hear lots of Talk Talk influence in it. My favorite tracks, The Loom, Big Shot, those are all really good. I think it's an amazing album, also amazing for nighttime or like the winter. But anyways, those are all the albums that I want. There are definitely a lot more. I have an entire want list, but these are the highlights that I wanted to get. I hope that I can get all of them. I'm not going to be that upset if I don't get all of them or any of them. I would be upset if I didn't get any of them. But I'd say the most important would be either Disco Inferno's 5 EPs or Bark Psychosis's Independency. And in a perfect world, I would want Bark Psychosis's Scum, but that one is rare, as far as I know. And I probably would not could not afford a Scum single. But that would probably be on the top of my list if I could afford it. But I'm putting a list of stuff that is realistic, you know, stuff like that. Anyways, my next couple videos, I think, or what I want to do with this channel is I just want to talk about music. I really like music, and I'm about to go to college. I'm going to Washington College, which is about 45 minutes away from here. And I'm hoping that I can just catalog a bunch of stuff because I really love music, and I want to do things in my spare time to make me a little bit happier. You know, I like talking about it, and I like showing people my records, and I think it would be really cool if I just showed people my record collection and stuff. I think my next video is probably just going to be like my recent purchases, including the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past, and that's all, you know. I'm not going to be, you know, unique in comparison to stuff like Too Many Records or Vinylize. You know, those are all adults. They can afford stuff that I can't. You know, I'm in a small room. Here's my bed. Here's this small bookshelf. But I still think it'd be fun if I just talked about albums. Anything in general, music. You know, I could do album reviews, though I don't like doing reviews for albums because I feel like, well, I do like doing reviews, but I don't like ranking the stuff. I don't like rating the stuff. I do have a Rate Your Music account, but I wouldn't want to do videos rating albums because I think putting it on an objective numerical scale, stuff that like Anthony Fantano does, I feel like it kind of influences opinions from other people. You know, I'm not going to be that influential, of course, but in the sense of like famous YouTube music critics, I feel like some people base their opinions off of their opinions. Or there could be the direct opposite. There could be people who hate Anthony Fantano and are like, oh, he likes this album, well, I hate it because he likes it. Well, no, I don't want you guys to do any of that kind of stuff, but it's not a perfect world. But I'm going to see if I can talk about, you know, music in general, but I think it's mostly going to be a vinyl account. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.